This is the 138th upload on this channel, and I realized that I've never really talked about my story, where I came from, and most importantly, why I do what I do today. This will be extremely personal as I touch upon my past, which was not always rosy in my opinion. In this video I'll use and explain certain subtopics like personal life, veganism, career, and the gym. Let's go! We'll start with my personal life. I was born at 25th of March in 1996 in the beautiful country of Switzerland. My mother was and is very caring, and my dad is very intelligent and successful in his job as an electrical engineer, so to speak. Everything should be perfect, but it wasn't. I was born a couple weeks too early and nearly died when I was born. I spent the first few weeks of my life in an incubator. After that I was going in and out of the hospital multiple times. I don't know exactly what was wrong with me, but something was wrong with my neck, which apparently pushed down on my optic nerve. The doctors gave my parents two options back then. Either I will die in the next weeks or spend the rest of my lifetime severely retarded. Luckily the doctors were proven wrong. My childhood was rather fun. We had a tight family bond and enjoyed the Swiss country life. But I always felt I was a very insecure kid. The incidents at my birth left me with a very strong, lazy eye early on, which is still sometimes visible today when I'm stressed out. My left eye is rather severely impaired with a strength of about 20%, but I got contact lenses to sort that stuff out. That's why I always felt something is quite wrong with me. I remember one time we took a blood test and I was paranoid about taking one as I thought I'm flawed on a deep level. I cried often in school because as a kid I naturally got picked on my shortcomings. I was a real crybaby. I remember one time in 8th grade I was crying when talking to my teacher, as he caught me faking my mother's signature. I was not a very good con artist, but otherwise I was very intelligent, mainly because I had parents with rather high expectations, which was a good thing in my opinion. When I was 15 years old, I thought my life nearly fell apart. My parents separated with a very nasty divorce process that got settled about 6 years later. Divorce is always hard on kids, but it was absolutely necessary on my parents' part in hindsight, so there's absolutely no one to blame. This put me in a negative spiral of drowning myself in video games, drinking and smoking on weekends, and getting in fights. I remember one time I was getting in a fight where I've defended my best friend, and the gang of the beaten up kids started searching for me at my high school for weeks on end, looking to beat me up. This brings me to my gym experience. My first real sport was karate. I was always very interested in the art of fighting. Very early on I remember me and the neighboring family having some sort of fighting games where my big brother coached me and the neighbors' big brothers coached them. We would fight until one of us started crying, then we stopped. I also enjoyed doing basic forms of mixed martial arts with my friends, fighting in their room. Here's a video of me putting a friend in an armbar in a bare knuckle fight. I was about 16 there. After realizing that shotgun karate was not that effective and heavily disliking the training, I started doing Thai boxing when I was about 16 years old. I liked the training very much and at one point I trained about 3 times per week. One time even with a very athletic and ambitious boxing coach, which heavily insulted us during the training. In hindsight, this was rather weird. I started lifting weights continuously when I was about 17 years old. This was about 5 years ago. It was a combination of me wanting to look and feel better, but it was also about not getting in future fights, as all of my fights ever started in self-defense. It was about getting respected. I didn't see results very fast. Only after 1.5 years my friends started telling me that I look big. After 2 years or so, when I started going on a vegetarian diet first, I got a six-pack. That's when I also started becoming a vegan. When I first started weightlifting, I absolutely didn't have healthy habits as seen before, but as I was getting more serious, they started changing. It felt like going in a positive spiral, but never realized that eating tons of meat could have been bad. I ate nearly 1 kilogram of meat every single day. No freaking kidding. I always had my Tupperware with me, always always white rice, broccoli and meat. This only started changing when I met my ex-girlfriend, which then gave me a book about veganism. I read the book and realized that the meat industry was so freaking up that this is not something that I want to support anymore. Although I first turned into vegetarian, I always knew that I will become vegan. It's the all or nothing mentality or the hero complex ingrained in me. Regarding my self-improvement, I think becoming vegan also taught me self-control and put me on another level for my discipline. It was a great decision and has since changed into multiple positive aspects in my life, even including my career. Back in high school, I was always focused on making big bucks. I want to be a lawyer, not because I liked it that much, but because I was good at law in school and it made cash. Only after I've worked in an old age home at the age of 18 and traveling to Thailand for 1 month on my own, trying to find myself, I realized that this is not the path I want to go. I wanted to live a life of passion. The money will follow. I then decided to really go the hard road back then. Although being overqualified because of my education, I looked for months to be an intern in a fitness center, far away from the country, going into the big city, for Switzerland terms. I finally got a chance in a small center that got bought by a big company, which was extremely challenging, stressful and sad at that point, but it turned out well. I finished my continuing education just 1 year ago. After being officially certified and being the top 2 of the entire country, I was immediately promoted to be the assistant manager. 5 months later, I was given the chance to manage a fitness center, which I took. Now 8 months later, I got the chance, an absolute bliss, to manage 5 of the biggest fitness centers in the whole country, which I obviously took too. This is my story. I have a very ambitious character. I think this was forged from my experience early in my life. I think I have a chip on my shoulders that will probably not go anyway anytime soon. I constantly seek self-improvement and I want to be better tomorrow than I've been today. And although working for approximately 50 hours a week in my full-time job, I still want to upload freaking YouTube videos, as I kinda like doing that stuff. I never want to be known as a YouTuber. In fact, I don't really like to show my face on most videos, as I'm not really looking for online fame. It was always important for me to create a name for myself offline, to be a man of value. I enjoy the videos most where I can sit behind the microphone and just talk. That's why a video like that is rather difficult to make, and that's why it's the 138th video and not the first.